to be. Terrorism and schism, driving on in droves. Unfiltered, ripping, ramshackle, team fights rolling on.
All right, BehindTheMaskPresents.com. I'm here with music legend Phil Anselmo, vocalist for the mighty Pantera, solo artist fronting the Illegals, and now horror festival host extraordinaire. Thanks for chatting, Phil.
Anytime, brother.
All right. Well, you being a massive horror supporter, it's not really new to your fans. We all know you founded the House of Shock back in the day and things like that. Can you tell us sort of how the idea of tackling an entire film festival like Housecore came about?
Actually, it was a suggestion from a cat named Corey Mitchell, who's very involved with the film festival, and he also happens to be the guy that I will eventually be writing my autobiography with. And really, he upon our first meeting, he came to the house and was taking a look around, and he kind of freaked out about all the horror regalia that I have around. And then finally, I showed him the film collection that I've been acclimating, or I guess accumulating would be the correct word, for years and years and years, and he was blown away because I have stuff that's really, really pretty rare. And anyway, it was his suggestion that we do a festival, and I guess really at the time I thought, okay, sure, but little did I know that it was going to grow into the beast that it actually is. But I'm very much looking forward to it because really, if you look at my history, like you mentioned, it's well documented that my passion for horror films is a damn well-known thing, and I've championed horror films for a very long time. And I'm also, obviously a huge music fan. So for me, it kind of goes hand in hand. If you find a great band, you want to turn people on to it, and if the same goes for films, with me, if I have friends that I know are big time horror film fans, and I come across a movie, I definitely want them to see it. I want to make sure that they see it. So really, it's really, I don't know. I think it's they run in serendipitous fashion as far as being a common bulk trait of who I am and what I do and what I enjoy. So I don't know. I think it makes complete sense. And shit, man, we're a month away, and I'm looking forward to it big time.
Yeah, we got a chance to speak with Corey, too. It's really cool that you guys are together doing this because, you're obviously very passionate about it. He's a really cool dude, and he's extremely passionate about it. And horror movies in general, he's a blast to chat with. And you even talked about that, what your name can lend to it. Like, you want to get your friends into horror movies, just like the music. Back in the day in the 90s, it was kind of like how you would wear sort of the underground extreme bands you were supporting at the time on the largest mainstream interviews, sort of to give that support. And, because of stuff like that, people like us would go out and check out those bands. It's just like that with the movies. Actually, you're the reason why I went out and checked out Amityville Horror 2, The Possession,
Wow. Well, that's, like you say, if you look at my body of work over the years, I've always championed underground bands, whether I be the walking billboard or whatever, but I've done many an interview to where, I guess the line of questioning will eventually wind up on horror films or whatever, and I love turning people on to, I guess, the lesser-known classics in my mind, and definitely in this house. And, I find that when you talk with other and fellow horror fanatics, movies, the history of movies is ridiculous. There's so many films out there that, even I find out about movies that are different and have been out there and are part of history. So I get turned on as well. So it's a back and forth type of thing. Whether it be music or film, you can always learn a little bit more, especially talking with someone that's absolutely passionate about it as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, Housecore, it's a lot more than just a film festival. I mean, we talked about music complementing the films like this very, very well. But sticking with the film side of it for just a second, you and Corey are really pulling out all the stops, by things like bringing Goblin in to live score Suspiria and performing, I think, a set all their own, from what I hear. And
very true.
Bringing in cats like Ruggero Deodato and Coffin Joe. Is there anybody that you didn't get? Because this is pretty incredible for horror fans.
Well, of course, there's always bands that you'd love to have, and films that you would love to play. But really, this is year one, and bands are scheduled, and they schedule their entire years. So there were certain bands that I wanted that could not make it for this particular year. So really, what we're really hoping for here is that everything goes super smooth, and we can start using this word that's very forbidden at this point, but a word called annual. So hopefully the thing runs smooth, and then next year we can bring in different bands and show even more movies.
Mm-hmm. Maybe next year you can see if Bruce Campbell can come on down and explain to everybody in person why the Evil Dead remake is so atrocious.
Ha ha! It's funny because I just ran into him. There was a horror convention in New Orleans last week, and I was there promoting the Housecore Horror Film Fest, and he was there, and he's an interesting guy to meet, but it's funny you mentioned the Evil Dead thing because I was talking about it yesterday, man. For me, Evil Dead 1 is the only one. It's the sacred film and really a fluke of a film. And the reason why I say that is because I don't particularly like comedy with my horror, and that's why Evil Dead 2 and 3 kind of were not up my alley, so to speak. Evil Dead 1, though, really was just a fantastic, brutal horror film that really, really hit on all cylinders, whether it be soundtrack, atmosphere, quality of acting, the story build-up, everything like that. So I am a tremendous Evil Dead 1 fan. And anyway, Old Campbell, he was a pretty cool guy, man, no doubt.
Well, speaking of Evil Dead, that's actually an interesting topic. All those things.
You know what? And the remake, I hated it. I did not like it at all.
You did finally watch it, because I think Corey had said you refused to watch it when we chatted with him a few months back.
I broke down and finally watched it and realized why I didn't want to watch it to begin with.
And it took away everything. Yeah, there was no comedy in it, but see, the original Evil Dead, it hit it all. It fired on all cylinders, but it also reeked of style. It had personality. Sam Raimi, I mean, he's a genius. I mean, I really wish he would go back and do a few more films like that. I mean, but
well, that's why I said it's a fluke. I mean, there's only even less than a handful of his films that I think I like, and strangely enough, I think next to Evil Dead.
Did you like Drag Me to Hell? Did you like that?
I thought it was. I don't know. I would give it a C+ out of the old A to F scoring or grading category there, but really I liked The Gift, I believe it was called, with
Frank Langella. Is he in that one? Maybe not.
I don't know. I'm not great with actors' names.
I never thought it.
The Gift, believe it or not, Keanu Reeves, I think, is in it, and it's one of his better roles, believe it or not. He's not this nerdy cat or cheesy cat. He's more of a rough, redneck, badass, wife-beaten maniac in this freaking movie, and The Gift was pretty good, but, as far as Raimi's body of work, I think that his most spirited and stylish, like you had mentioned, effort is Evil Dead. Evil Dead 1, hands down, man.
And, we could sit here and talk about Evil Dead all day long. We don't have time for that. I mean, that's pretty divided. Some people are going to say 1, some people are going to say 2. I'm personally going to say 2. I like it just a little more than the first one, but
you lost me.
I know. I love them.
But I respect it, though. I respect your opinion. I don't really like the movie, though.
And that kind of leads us into the block schedule of films, fucking remakes, which I think is the most alluring. It's incredible. And obviously, Evil Dead is, you guys are going to play the original Evil Dead, right? And what else are you guys going to play in that block?
What's the question?
Well, I mean, that kind of leads into that block of films at the Housecore, the fucking remakes is what it's dubbed, I guess. That's probably the most alluring, and I think you guys are playing the original 8 Evil Dead in that.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the kind of a personal bird finger to the remake, the fact that we're playing the Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, and that feels pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there any remakes you actually like or any modern-day horror that you like?
It's hit miss. I see some stuff that's pretty good out there, but right off the top of my head, I thought there's a movie called The Pact that I thought was okay. There was one called In Absentia that I think was interesting, kind of a sublime watch and different in its own way. I think they were really trying for something slightly different, and it's kind of a little bit of a twist at the end there, of course, that I'm not sure if it's a big payoff, but it's definitely a head-scratcher. So, there are certain movies out there that I think are all right, but as far as remakes go, the only one that I can say that honestly had a chance, but they missed it, goddammit, was The Thing. And really they should, in my opinion, have called the movie and had the guts to call the movie The Thing, the prequel. Because really the story was a prequel to the John Carpenter version of The Thing, to where the remake ended where John Carpenter started, and it took place at the Norwegian camp, and that was how The Thing was originally discovered. I thought there were certain, like the lead actress, I had a hard time buying into her role, but she, she actually surprised me and did an okay job. But I still think she was miscast, and as far as CGI goes, take a look at that damn first, well, you can't say first, but take a look at John Carpenter's The Thing, and you look at that, and you look at the special effects in that movie, and really not a lick of CGI, all prosthetics and air hoses and all this fantastic effects in that film, and it makes you wonder why they would even rely on CGI. And when I saw the remake, of course, I realized that, of course, I was going to see a video game of sorts when it came to the monster, and it wasn't that bad, but still, I just think leaning on CGI just for the fact that you can these days is pretty bunko as well. So, I don't know, man. I'm an old school cat, and it's tough for me. It's very tough for me. But I'll end this little diatribe like this. There are certain, I don't want to call them absolutely mainstream yet, but I think that they, to a certain degree, have reached mainstream audiences. Cats like Ty West.
Oh, yeah.
House of the Devil, I thought was very, very interesting, weird enough, strange enough, bizarre enough story to where I could say, yes, I like that movie pretty well. And the stylistically very much like, I guess, a feel of like maybe the first Friday the 13th, or the look of the film, something like that, something very retro, but also welcome. So either way, there are some people that are trying. But you know what? Where this leads me is, when I talk about turning people on to new things, as whether it be music or film, one of the more exciting aspects of this whole thing is the submissions that I've received.
Mm-hmm. Are you watching those too with Corey?
Oh, not with him, but I mean,
well,
yes,
sharing the duties.
Yeah, I get the links and I get to give my input. Yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down, and man, I think that there's some very, very, very excellent short films, full-length films, medium-length films that we've received from lesser-known directors that I cannot wait for, I guess, the big-time horror fan or a guy maybe my age who has grown up and been through somewhat of the history of horror, because, when I was a kid, of course, I grew up with all the Universal monsters, and then from that point on, once you're locked into Karloff, you start following everything he's done, and then next thing you know, you're into history. And then every decade brings its own flavor and or distaste to the genre. But honestly, these with the submissions that we've got, I think that really, I think that there's some under-the-radar directors out there that are really trying to do something different with horror films, and really, once again, I cannot wait to turn people on to these films, man, because I think that these directors can be or have a great shot at being tomorrow's tip of the tongue type people that or go-to guys when you think, man, I really want to watch a great horror film. I think that a lot of these directors have a great opportunity to be that go-to director, if you catch my drift. I think that I don't know. I can't wait to turn people on to some of these lesser-known cats. It's going to be killer.
Very cool. Switching gears for just a second. Now, the other aspect that makes the Housecore Horror Film Festival really a unique experience from any other festival out there is basically that you've got a music festival's worth of the most extreme bands playing, the Illegals and Down included. I'm pretty sure it's pretty tough getting everyone on board with the scheduling and whatnot, even though it seems like you extracted the entire NOLA scene, too, which is badass. Is Eyehategod still going to play with the recent passing of your friend Joe?
That's a great question, and an even better answer is yes, they are playing. And
incredible.
Dale Crover from the Melvins is sitting in and playing the set with them, and in my opinion, that is going to be legendary. And I got to say this, in the late 80s, when Jimmy Bauer first got into the Melvins, that really changed his perspective on music in general. And the Melvins were one of his biggest influences. He turned me onto the Melvins and made me a fucking big-time Melvins fan. And just everything coming full circle is very exciting. And we've been out here every day this past month writing the new Down EP. So I've been very close with Jimmy, and I've talked to him every day, and he is super, super excited about having Dale rock that set with him, and that's going to be great, man. Now,
correct me if I'm wrong, I saw Down play at the Key Club in West Hollywood in January, and I think he came on stage and either joined you guys or Honky, man. It's kind of a blur. Does that sound about right?
I think he got up and jammed with Honky, and they do. I know Pincus from Honky actually jams with the Melvins sometimes. So it's like, you know, we've toured with the Melvins in the past, and there's a great deal of brotherhood there, and we love all those guys. And I, you know, when it comes to stepping up to the plate and helping out and being a true brother, man, all them cats in the Melvins are just fantastic people. And once again, I got to give them two big old thumbs up for actually, for number one, playing the festival at all, and also Dale sitting in with Eyehategod. To me, it's just a first round knockout.
Mm-hmm. I mentioned before you're playing the festival with both the Illegals and Down. You recently released your debut solo record, Walk Through Exits Only, which I want to say, and I'm not just blowing smoke, is my personal favorite heavy record of the year. I mean,
thank you, man.
It's incredible, man. It's the most unique sounding and uncompromising release I've heard in forever, man. And that's not, for one, it's surprising that somebody, you know, this stage in your career to release something that's that bold and new. I mean, I kind of had an idea. I'm familiar with all your projects, sir. I've been following your career my whole life. So it's like I kind of had an idea where it could go. Totally out of left field. So not just that, but for anybody to come out with something that's new these days. So I applaud you for that. And
well, man, I appreciate that a lot. And really that was the intention the whole time, was to make something that was somewhat fresh and new within the, I guess, the genre and or subgenres that are out there that are, I guess, considered the most extreme genres out there. You know, I just felt like there was room for a different perspective on that. And with that, I do have to say that we have, and I am talking, you know, about myself and the Illegals, we have a 10-inch, 2-song EP that is going to be available at the Housecore Horror and Film Festival exclusively. And it's a 2-song thing, and honestly, it's a whole nother take on extreme. Very, very different than Walk Through Exits Only. Extremely different than Walk Through Exits Only. But still, very cutting edge, very, very tripped out, and just different than Walk Through Exits Only. And I can't emphasize that any more than I already have. But really, it's a special EP. So I'm looking forward to releasing that sucker too.
As long as it's got the same spirit as the LP, man, it's going to be great. I mean, that spirit of, you can hear that record and you know it's not for everybody, but I think that's the intention. And
absolutely,
you can tell that you're making what you want to make, and like I said, you know, hey, I'm not going to please everybody. Anybody who wants to come around, along for the ride, killer. But so
I'm not. Believe me, I knew when we recorded that record that it was going to be a selective audience that got it, first of all, and really, the mere fact that we're almost into October now, and the record came out in July, and you're still talking about it. It makes me feel like, you know what, the decision to do the record the way we did it was the right decision, and there's no looking back, and really I'm proud of it. And honestly, I can't wait to hear what your take on the new EP is, because of, like I say, and I cannot emphasize it anymore, it is very different than Walk Through Exits Only, yet still captures what I think is a different approach to extremities. And one of the songs, the second song or the B-side basically, is maybe one of the most epic songs I've ever written in my life, because it's all over the place stylistically, but somehow very cohesive. So anyway, once that's released and you get an earful of that, then hopefully we get a chance to talk again. So I'd like to get some feedback on that sucker. So
I will.
I can't wait for you to hear it, brother.
I will hold you to that, sir. And you know what? Still talking about it is sort of an understatement. That record gets me through my morning workouts still, man.
Right on, big brother.
Grueling, man. So one last thing I want to talk about that is the current tour you just finished, or at least the string of dates. It was incredibly awesome and a pleasure to see you resurrect the Pantera songs after so many years. I mean, these are songs that need to be played, and they're giving people that never got to see Pantera, like me, for example. I mean, you guys, my only chance to see you guys is on the Reinventing the Steel, and I think Vinnie Paul broke his foot back in the day in Omaha, Nebraska, got canceled, but that was it. But anyway, busting out the classics, but especially gems like Death Rattle Shakes off of what I consider to be Pantera's underappreciated album, Reinventing the Steel. So, I mean, not really a question in there. I mean, I kind of know, I can guess why you wouldn't have, I can guess why now's the time to do that and not with any of your other projects. But I just wanted to say, man, I applaud you for bringing those back. They needed to come back.
Oh, man, I appreciate that very much.
And they sound amazing, man. Dude, you're shredding those vocals on it in a great way.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. And it feels very unique, and it feels fantastic to play that stuff. And like you mentioned, there's a whole audience out there that never got a chance to see Pantera. And with that particular lineup and the Illegals, they're all, the majority of them are Texas boys and grew up with Pantera. And believe it or not, I mean, my drummer, who was the War Beast drummer as well, he was born the year Cowboys from Hell came out, so it was unique for him as well, man. So, I think in the near future, when we do tour again, we're going to pull out even more surprises because, once again, look at my back catalog. I've got so many different projects that I've done. I mean, we had stuff worked up from Superjoint to Christ Inversion to Arson Anthem as well. So, I always like to make each and every show a little bit unique, a little bit different from the last show. So I think we're going to gear up with even more stuff. So keep your eyes peeled. It's
probably too late to be taking requests, but please rehearse Sandblasted Skin.
Ooh,
love Sandblasted. My all-time favorite, man. Probably my all-time favorite. So,
wow. I'll keep that in mind for sure.
That in mind. Now, we're running out of time, so really quick, I just want to ask you a string of questions to know Phil Anselmo, the person. Short answer is totally fine. We only got a couple minutes. I'm going to start. It's hard to imagine Phil Anselmo not being extreme, but even you were a little kid once, too. So my question is, what childhood kiddie cartoons did you wake up on Saturday morning to watch?
Oh, man, Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny.
Hands down. Three Stooges. I know that's not a cartoon, but I love the Three Stooges, and I love the Bugs Bunny, and maybe even the early Scooby-Doo stuff. That's the kind of kid I was.
No Grape Ape? Okay, really short answer here on this one. Like a lot of horror fanatics, I take you for a collector of sorts. You even mentioned it earlier. Do you have any particular prized piece that maybe it's a particular one-sheet poster or something in your collection that you would just not want to ever give up?
I don't want to give up anything I got, man. I love all of my stuff, but really this is kind of weird. But for my last birthday, my 45th birthday, I got sent a package from one of my favorite bands of all time, modern day death metal band that I think is redefining the genre of death metal, and that's a band called Portal. And the lead singer mailed me his first stage garb that he ever wore on stage. So for me to have the Curator's first outfit mailed to me, that's something I would never want to give up. Killer, man. Last question, then we got to let you go. What did you think of the new Black Sabbath record? Short and sweet. Honestly, I liked it. I'm not going to lie. I think the drums were a little plainish or whatever, or just a little straightforward in comparison to what Bill Ward could really bring to Black Sabbath. But overall, I was kind of surprised at how much I enjoyed the record. So I liked it, man. Me personally, surprisingly too.
Very cool, man. I just knew you were a huge fan, and I wanted to get you. I'm asking everybody that, by the way. So Black Sabbath Black Sabbath is good for everybody. That's a good question. But anyway, Phil, I thank you so much. I know you got a book out, and you probably got more interviews, so I appreciate you taking the time, man. I'm going to hold you to that next interview on that EP, man.
Hold me to it, and I will be there, young brother, anytime, anywhere. And dude, thank you so much for having me, man. It goes both ways, you know. I can't do it alone, and with folks out there like yourself, man, you keep the old man young, and I love you, and I appreciate it, big brother.